Hello, I'm Rhonda.
And I'm Nick.
And welcome to
When Mourning Comes.
Scream, cry, yell, why did it have to happen? It hurt so bad. You thought the pain would never end. We've come to share some hope and help you realize some the sun will rise again. That's when morning.
Good morning, everybody. And I know, you know what, Ned, we say good morning every episode. And I know a lot of people be asking us, like, why are you saying morning?
Yeah.
Good.
And
We're
it
not
films
saying-
at 8 o'clock.
Right, and it shows at 8. It's not good morning like it's the morning time, but morning, because that's what we're trying to get to, right? Morning.
Exactly.
Right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 5 of When Morning Comes. I know y'all are looking like this is not your typical scenario, as my auntie would say.
It's a lot of people.
And it's a lot of people. This is a little different, okay? And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But before we get started, I want to welcome everybody to When Morning Comes. If this is your first time viewing this podcast, let me tell you something. Welcome, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching. If this is not your first time and you are a return viewer, thank you.
Thank
okay?
you. Thank
you.
We thank you.
Okay, we not. Okay. Thank you so much. If this is your first time, we want to let you know that this space is environment for grievers, for those that are not just grieving, but for those who may be a supporter of people that are grieving. And we like to liken it to a roller coaster ride, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about grief, it's like you're sitting on the roller coaster and you don't know which way you're going. It's left and right, an emotional roller coaster. Left, right, up, down, toss and turn. That's kind of like what grief is for us.
Yeah.
And so this space is for those who are sitting in the seat of the griever. So you ride this roller coaster, right? Or if you are sitting beside someone on the roller coaster and you are there as a supporter of those who are grieving, or you might be on the ground looking up at the people saying, hurry up and get off this ride because I'm tired of you screaming, I'm tired of you crying, you need to stop. This space is for everybody, okay? So once again, welcome. Thank you for those who have watched and supported.
Yes.
We have had oh my God, we have had a lot of support from everybody. And for that, we would like to say thank you.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much.
Yes, I'm gonna let Nick go into some morning news.
My turn?
Yep, morning news after Nick.
So our morning news, as always, keep it respectful, keep it light, keep it courteous. We never really have to tell y'all, because again, like y'all are always being so good and so sweet. Y'all probably have your little thoughts in your head,
But you don't put it in the
you'll never
comments.
type it. It says,
right?
So we truly appreciate y'all for that. We want to always leave y'all with some tools. So have your pen and your paper out, because at the end of each podcast, we always wrap up and we have some little notes that we want to leave with you. Most of the time it's Rhonda, you know, so because she likes to do the yapping. So she'll leave you with some notes so you can write them down, because we don't just want to talk the whole time. We want to leave you with some tidbits of information. So have your pen and paper out, because trust, it's going to be some notes. If you are ever in a mental health crisis, like we always remind you, 988,
Yes.
which is the 911 of mental health.
Yes.
Call 988 and they will get on the phone and help you as best as they can and get you to who you need to get to. And then Psychology Today. If you are in need of a therapist, of a mental health professional, Psychology Today. You can put on there if you would like a male, female, if you would like them
Older, younger,
telehealth, virtual, you want to lay on the couch and talk, you can put that in there and you can be able to find somebody.
I don't know if they got a couch option.
Well, you know.
Go ahead.
You can be exactly. And so, yeah, so that's just a couple of our morning news. So like she said, I know you see us sitting here. We would like to thank, first of all, JT of the 2 Cigar Lounge. Everybody give JT.
That's it, the 2. All right.
For allowing us to be in his space today. Thank you so much. The 2 Cigar Lounge is open and available for events. If you would like to have your event here, you can reach out to the 2. We should have his number somewhere down there. And you can reach out to him. He's also on Instagram, social media. So reach out. You would like to have an intimate event? Go ahead, call him up and set you something up.
Or if you want to just come by and relax after work one day, sit down, chill, take a load off, come visit the two.
It's open for men and women.
That's
if you want to chill out, have you a little beverage, or whatever the case is, watch the game. It's open for that. So
he is actually our episode sponsor. So for this month, we would like to thank JT for sponsoring this episode. We got a couple of other sponsors for this episode.
So we have JT and we also have Dan Washington.
That's right.
Of Low and Slow. He catered the food for this episode.
That's right.
Big ups to him.
Big ups to Dan Washington.
So we like to thank those two, and we'll get into our other sponsors at the end of the episode. But those two, we want to really, really, really thank you because they really, made it happen today. So going into what we discussed last episode, and we kind of recapping. The episode was Faith and Mourning. Did y'all watch our last episode?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you didn't watch it, we're just going to recap what Faith and Mourning. We just basically kind of talked about faith and how when you're going through grief and mourning, you kind of lose your faith in people. You kind of lose your faith in things. You kind of lose your faith in God.
I was about to say.
And that was one of the things that I stated. Like, my faith wavered a lot. It was shaking. I was kind of upset with God. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I was mad because I didn't understand. I had a lot of questions.
A lot of whys.
And I felt like he wasn't answering any of my questions. So we talked about that and recap the things that we go through when your faith is wavering. So we reached out to our friend Albert Tate.
Shout out to Albert Tate
Shout out to Albert Tate again. He gave us some little pinpoints and kind of helped us navigate that episode. And he kind of reminded us that if you're going to doubt God with God.
With God.
Don't do it without him. Like, if you're going to doubt him, if you got questions, don't leave them. Don't stray away. Don't be mad at them. Do it with them. Ask him the questions. Sit down with him and tell him, hey, I'm mad. I'm mad. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on. Have that intimate conversation with him because he knows what you're going through. He knows exactly what you're going through, why you're going through it, and he's going to be there every step of the way. It may not feel like it. I promise it may not feel like it, but he's there. So that was some of the things that we talked about in that episode, and we kind of, listen, I'm not going to tell you out of that because you need to go back. If you didn't watch it,
go back
and watch
That's it.
And you will see some of the tips and the tools that we left you with in that episode. So yeah.
So from that episode, the more Ned and I talked, we realized that we talk a lot about grief from our experience, from us as women. And we realized that there are times where men often get, I don't want to say overlooked, but left out of the conversation. In February, we did an episode where we kind of highlighted other women that were grieving. So it wouldn't just be coming from my sister and I. And so we had like a Galentine's kind of event.
Yeah.
They had little snacks, little beverages, and they were able to sit down and support and love on each other. But then the more we talked about it, we don't give men that same opportunity to do that. So like we said, our environment is different because we have a couple of men in the audience with us that are grieving, okay? And so what we want to do is give every man in the room the opportunity to introduce themselves, if that's okay. And you don't have to give a biography about about who you are.
Save it for your social media.
You don't have to give a whole biography, just your name, and just a little information about why this space is important for you. And we're gonna start over here.
We're gonna start here.
Hi, my name is Tony Albert. I'm just grieving a former life.
And my name is Jason Gibson, and I'm grieving my father.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Ken Brown, and I'm a griever. I'm grieving my mom.
Yes, I'm Samir Bell, and I'm also grieving my mom.
Hello, Myra Johnson. I'm grieving my dad.
We'll start right over here.
Hello, I'm Jeff Davis, and I'm grieving members of my family.
Hey, I'm Ralph Horn, and I'm grieving my father as well as my grandmother.
I'm Rafe Williams. I'm grieving my mom, my daughter mom, stepdad, aunties, a host of people.
Jonathan Winston, and I'm grieving my sister-in-law.
Warren Smith, I'm a griever.
Oh, okay. So as we noticed that every gentleman in here, they're grieving different things. Every gentleman, that was so wrong. Every gentleman in this room, they're all grieving different things. And so we talk a lot about grief and grieving a person or a loss or a death. But Ned and I have shared in other episodes that it's not just about grieving a loss or a death of somebody, but you can be losing different things. You can lose a relationship. You can lose a friendship. We talked about grieving our church.
Yeah.
Because when we lost Mama, we no longer had a relationship at that church anymore. So there's a lot of things that we were grieving. And so we also recognize that everybody processes grief differently. Now, let me say this. I don't want to sound like I'm judging men. All right. So let me just say statistics and research will say that men, they process their emotions differently, right? And because you guys process things differently emotionally, then it's just obvious that you're going to grieve differently from the way a woman will grieve, right? And so we wanted to allow you guys to have space to just talk about that, because there are men that are watching this who may feel like, I'm also experiencing some things and I don't know if I'm doing this right, or I don't know if what I'm experiencing is okay. Yeah. And so it's important for you guys to be able to be a voice to men that are out there that may not know how to share these things with other people. Yeah. So we thank you again for coming and being vulnerable, okay? So today is not going to be Ned and I talking. We're not going to be up here holding a conversation. Nope. We were asked by the gentleman to be Oprah. So I'm going to be Oprah 1 and Oprah 2. Okay?
I'm going to be Gail.
So we're going to be Oprah and Gail, okay? Today we're going to just be facilitators of this conversation. And we want to allow you guys to just speak from wherever you want to speak from, okay? I don't want to say your heart because you might want to speak from another part, right? Okay.
And when you get ready to talk, get your microphone.
Pass the mic.
And pass them and talk in them, okay?
So we reached out to a few men and we wanted them to give us questions because, like I said, we didn't want this to be from our perspective. We wanted it to be solely for men, right? So we reached out to a few men and they gave us a couple questions. So I'm going to start off with one of the questions, and y'all can start however you want to start from this question, okay?
And if you don't start, we're going to just say, hey,
so
what do you think?
Right. Okay.
I want to give a heads up.
So one of the first questions, I kind of said it earlier, research says that men experience grief differently for several reasons. Some of the reasons may be men keep their feelings inside. Men may not recognize the signs and symptoms of grief. Men try to distract themselves. Men may feel that expressing grief may be a sign of weakness. So those are just some of the reasons that statistics and research will say that this is why men grieve differently. So do you feel that men express grief differently from women? And if you do feel that way, tell us why.
I think that all those things are good that was spoken about. But I think what's probably missing is the shame that can be associated with grief as a man.
Okay.
Men, there are a lot of expectations that come from women, from the world of men. And it's one blanket expectation. It does not consider the differences that we bring, our different experiences. Some folks in here know how to work on cars. I don't work on cars. Mm-hmm. Some people know how to work, so the experiences are different. And so there's an expectation. So a lot of that expectation is also that we're able to carry, we're able to maintain, we're able to make sure the bills continue to get paid, that child support continues to get sent. Those things don't allow us to take off.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying like we're the ones that are supposed to show the emotion. We're the ones that are supposed to cry. They're supposed to feel.
No, I'm not saying that there's a supposed to. I think that what I'm saying is that there is an expectation.
Okay.
That there's a general expectation, and particularly of men. Okay. That while we grieve, because see, we don't get. This is the way I'll put it. My daddy died. And I didn't cry until his 1 year anniversary.
Okay.
Because stuff The pipes broke. We buried him on Saturday. Monday, the pipes broke. I couldn't grieve. What I'm gonna do? The water running down, and I'm gonna say, well, I'm just saying, we'll get the water cleaned up, because everybody was looking at me to fix the water.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a shame in some spaces that's associated with men in grief.
First of all, let me say I can appreciate what you said as far as what you're grieving. As I think that we're put to shame and put in a place where it's not okay to grieve, because we are expected to be strong. We are expected to just keep rolling with the punches. Just like you said, you bury your father on one day and something that happens the next. Where is the time? Where is the time? I mean, from my standpoint, I can appreciate that, because I'm a father, and I'm having to worry about what my children are feeling. So where is that space for me to be like, let me focus on myself? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What am I feeling? You can't do it. You don't have the time to. So I can appreciate what you're saying at first hand about grieving life. And not just the fact of being a man. Being black, we already have a stigma. We already have a foot on our neck. We already have so much built against us, whereas we have to portray ourselves in a certain way. And it doesn't allow us to be free, to express ourselves the way we want to.
Male by birth, man by choice. That's his shirt. That's what it said. And I'm sitting there processing that. And the whole time I'm feeling what Tony said. We don't have that takeoff time. Real quick example. My mom died of COVID in 20. Got divorced in 20. My baby came with me in 20. So I had to man up and raise a child. Yeah. So I haven't grieved.
Yeah. And didn't even get to grieve your divorce.
You know what I'm saying? So it was so much going on. I didn't have the time to take it.
You take a mental break, you a sorry daddy. So what you want? Grieve when? Grieve when?
Grieve when? I ain't got time.
Yeah, and I feel all y'all on that. I promise I do. But when my dad passed, I had to look at it like, okay, I have my mom still. I got 2 older sisters. We all out the house. We grown doing everything. But I had to realize for myself, I had to sit and take a mental break. You just got to. Like, I know you got kids, your wife, like you said, you're grieving your divorce. But sometimes it's one of them things you can be like, man, I'm finna take a day, cut my phone off, don't talk to nobody. Because you need that day of solitude. Like, I needed it. Like, it's been times I've called off work for days at a time because I just needed it. And us as men, like you said, we got to make sure this fine. We got to make sure to take care of kids, but you also got to take care of yourself in that process. Like, just take some days, because it ain't nothing wrong with it. So, like I said, I take days when I need to, and it helps me. So
what you say? Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, if you don't, you will break.
Yeah.
And with what you just said, I don't know if you guys heard him. He said, if you don't take a break, you will break. One of the questions that was submitted to us kind of spoke on that.
He wanted to kind of piggyback on what.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's good. What I was just thinking, like, far as me, I've never been taught how to grieve. I don't know what grieving is.
That's good.
So it's like, when my mom passed, everybody like, you need to grieve. And like, first of all, it was a whole life-changing experience for me. And it was like, far as me, I work for myself. I can't take no PTO days. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my mom passed on Wednesday, I was DJing on Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday DJing. I had to make arrangements with working to bury my mom.
Wow.
And it was like, it was a whole process doing everything by myself. Like, my sister was there, but of course, as a woman, I can't right now. Oh, I miss mama so much. This shit got to be done. Excuse my language. This stuff got to be done. So it was like, with me, I learned a lot about myself, but at the same time, it was hard. Like, I ain't never bought a wig before. Yeah. So it's like, you get a list from the funeral home, like, you can't have pantyhose, you gotta have knee highs. You gotta have certain colors. She can't wear shoes, she need to have ballerina slippers. So now I got a whole list. I gotta go find to bury my mom and stuff. I don't even know where to look for it. I'm like, I grew up going to movie star, the movie star store, whatever it was, the pantyhose store in Clinton by Kroger with my mom. That's all I knew to go to. So it's a feed supply store in there. So I'm like, I don't know where to go. So it's like just run around different places, processing it all. And it was like, it wasn't time to grieve. So, and when I felt like I should have cried or it would hit me, it's like you can feel that moment like, whoo. All right, keep it moving. Like I never
Can I ask you why though? Can I ask you why you felt like Thursday I gotta go DJ Friday? Because I feel like you could have called anybody and they were like, "Yo, we get it. We'll find a DJ." Why did you feel like you had?
It's like with me. First of all, I do like corporate events, wedding events. Yeah, we understand your mom's passed. What time you gonna get here? And then I do a lot of weddings. Like these people been playing for this day their whole year. So it's like I cannot tell them like, look, my mama died. I ain't showing up to your wedding. What you mean?
So you don't want to let
Is the funeral now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just a lot. I had to process. Like I had to bury my mama on a Wednesday because I was booked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I did a funeral on a Wednesday just to accommodate my schedule and family. And it was like just doing everything like preparing mentally with work. Still had to make sure everybody big day go well, but at the same time, making sure, like I viewed my mama body, you know how to do the viewing before, you know what I'm saying, the family hour. View the body, van full of equipment, leave, went and DJ at one of the schools. Bill said that was one of the elementary schools, I can't think of, but I had to do like they field day that day. Like it was Mason, like they made day at the school. So it's like dealing with like the whole month of May is crazy for me because it's like my mom's birthday, May 7th. She passed on the 16th. My daughter mother that passed, birthday's on the 16th. So it's like, then of course I buried her a week later. So it was just a lot going on. And it was like, I didn't know how to mourn. Still don't know how to mourn, being honest about it. It's like, I broke down, like you said, the guy said, it was a year later. Like in the shower, and it just hit me. You know what I'm saying? It's like
in the shower.
In the shower.
In the shower.
In the shower.
By yourself in the car.
That's it. And it hit me. And it was like, I'm out on the ground, like water falling on me, like I couldn't stand, I couldn't breathe. I'm like, oh, this is what I mean to get you when it gets you. Like everybody was saying, like
because you held it in so long.
I held it in
because
so
you tried
long.
to keep yourself busy.
Exactly.
And I found myself doing it. I accept every gig because I want to keep myself busy.
Right.
But I use my comic to get myself through grief. In his days, I get out work. I have a taste for some of my palate, and I said, "Let me call my mom." And I like, "Man, mama, man." Yeah. You know, them be the moments for me, dude. Like I do that often.
Yeah.
Rafe, you said you buried your mom on a Wednesday. It had to be working, the DJing on a Thursday, and then you saying it hit you while you in the shower. You know, man. That's relatable, you know. Of course y'all know the backstory on my wife and my sister-in-law. Mom passed away 22 on my birthday. In between that, well, later that year, I found out my oldest brother had passed from a second stroke. He had, like I said, passed away from a second stroke, but I found out 6 months after the fact. And then, same day, birthday, 23, my mom. And just last month, my dad. And the weird part about what you said about that when it hit you is like, after, you know, we buried my dad on a Saturday. That Sunday after, I was fine. That day was cool. Monday morning, in the shower. And it's just like the visual of seeing my father, or I'm gonna say this, seeing my father's body, because my father was gone. But that hit me that morning, and like it just broke me down. So you don't know, you never know when it's gonna get you. You can be driving around town, man. You see something, you hear something on the radio, and bam, you know. It just come in like a flood. That's hard to deal with. That's really hard to deal with. I'm not just.
Well, one of the things that was submitted to us as a question, it kind of goes back to something that I think you said, Ralph, about if you have to find some time to let it out. And then I think Jeff said if you don't, You'll break. One of the questions the gentleman reached out and asked, they would like to hear you guys' perspective on how or if grief may be connected to things like mood swings, lashing out, shutting down, keeping it in and not releasing it, but then it ends up being released in other ways, like we said, lashing out, mood swings, shutting down. From your perspective, is grief connected to those things, and how? Or, just speak on that a little bit.
I wouldn't say grief is connected to those. I think those are connected to grief. I think that grief brings those on. Being in the same house with you all, I can honestly say that my grief has put me in a place to shut down sometimes, to where I'm not vocal. I'm there, but I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? I'm present, but not present. So I don't think that grief entails. I think that those are the things that grief brings on. I don't think grief entails that. It can affect your life. Grief can affect your life. I'm a living example. When I told Rafe, it told you it'll break you if you don't take breaks. Man, I've been off work since December. And thank the Lord, I'm stepping into a new job. But at that time, that day, that moment, had I not said, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm stepping away from this, I was gonna crash. Yep. I was literally afraid of what I was gonna do. I was literally afraid of what may have happened, to a point to where I'm shaking.
Question: have y'all found yourselves sometimes lashing out, having an attitude for no reason, not wanting to talk, and you just say, I don't know what it is. But you also think back to it could be possibly because I'm holding in all of this anger that comes from grief, like we talked about in one of our episodes, how grief that sits in you, it formulates as anger sometimes, and depression and resentment. So resentment of having to go back to taking care of the kids right out, resentment of having to immediately go to work, resentment of just having to be the face of everybody. Look at him, look at daddy got you, and daddy ain't had the chance to cry.
Yeah, the only time I lash out is if it's been 2 days and I ain't got none. But if I'm shutting down, if I'm shutting down and it's related to the grief, wait, did I say something wrong? I just helped somebody if y'all listening, ladies. All right, but for me, my frustration was that I was ashamed to talk about the grief I was dealing with. So I got divorced in 2019, and then I got married in 22. Well, I was still grieving my former life. I didn't miss my ex-wife. Okay. But I didn't know how to say I'm grieving my old family, my old patterns, my old ways, without it sounding like I sure wish I could go back to that.
Yeah, and not offending.
And so sometimes it's not necessarily, I find myself, my grief makes me go inward. Because I need to deal with this by myself. And when I'm done with it, then I can come back out and I can face the world a little bit. So I think that while I think there's a lot too that needs to be said, and men need to be applauded because of our processing. And I think that because we don't oftentimes process verbally or in a room or in group therapy, then sometimes we don't get the credit for what grief looks like for us. So I think that we really need to figure out what is a safe way, what is a healthy way to grieve, even if I'm not doing it out loud. And I know I'm not the only person in the room who's not just grieving somebody, but you may be grieving something or something from the past.
Yeah. You have something?
Absolutely. As men, we do have to give ourselves grace in grief, because it's learning a new you. That's it. You've never lost who you lost until you lost them. It's almost like, and I think you guys said it earlier, losing a limb. All of my life I've had my left and my right leg. Yeah. And so grief is almost like learning to walk without my right leg. You're gonna be frustrated, or trying to bathe or do anything without my right hand. You're gonna be angry because at first you're gonna knock some stuff over. You're gonna have moments where you don't want to be seen in that space. That's what grief is. And so to say, yes, I'm angry, yes, I'm frustrated, yes, people don't want to be around me because they can't understand this new me. Well, I don't understand the new me. And so I had to learn that being alone was not social isolation. Solidarity helped me to learn the new me. And so as men, I think we are often looked at as not being, not grieving because we don't show it externally. But every last one of us in here, we can't escape grief because it's a loss. And so we may manifest it differently because that's how we do life. But it does not mean that we're not grieving. You're grieving. To hear us say our names and then to tell who we lost, you can hear it in our voice. We're grieving. We have just learned to, without our right hand and left leg, to keep living life and doing what we gotta do because that's what we've always had to do.
That's good. So that's really good. What I heard you guys say a couple of times was a couple of things that you guys said several times. Shame. There's that shame. There's an expectation. And then Jeff said something about him not being, not working since December. A lot of times men feel as if I take FMLA, you got a job, you got sick time and PTO time and FMLA, for a reason. But for some reason, men sometimes feel like, well, if I take it, then it makes me look
make me look weak.
Vulnerable.
A lot of people, a lot of people think the various drugs, fentanyl and all, they think that's the worst drug. But the worst drug is testosterone.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm preaching today.
That's good.
For some reason, we're supposed to be Superman. That's what society and that's how we was brought up. So our testosterone won't let us grieve or cry in public. Put shades on at funerals, but I applaud a man that actually lifts his hood up to show his feelings, show his motor. I applaud him because guess what? Man, you human, bro. So everybody grieves different. Everybody grieves in their own different ways, their own different avenues. You have to find what works for you, find what works for your family, and keep it moving. And I be hard on Christians. Can I go there?
Go.
I be hard on Christians.
You surely do.
I do because I grew up in the church. My dad been pastoring all my life, and so I'm in church. I'm singing these songs, but I don't know how to apply these songs. I'm saying all my griefs and sins to bear, but how do I apply it?
Because it ain't Bible.
Come on.
That's it.
You can't apply what ain't Bible.
What you think, Jason? We singing these songs, and how do we apply it?
So for me, my process was a little different.
Okay.
I knew when my father died on May 11th, 2023, he prepared me for it. I'm the youngest of three, but I was always seen as the one who could take it, even from him. So, I have 30 minute to an hour voice recording still to this day that I still listen to from my father telling me this insurance policy is here, this key is here, this account does this. So it was that level of preparation. And because of my faith, I grieve. As soon as it happened, I took 2 weeks and I called my employer and said I'm not coming to work for 2 weeks. I called my pastor and said I'm not coming to church for 2 weeks. I called everybody I need to call and said I'm going to be out of pocket for the next I don't know how long, and it ended up being 2 weeks. But like y'all said, for me, I did start to see throughout that process that grief started to turn into some anger, but that anger came from a lack of unmet expectation. Like y'all kind of said, you can be driving and hear a song, you can see something, and that's what was happening. This was happening, and then while I was in this giddy mood and I would all of a sudden get into this somber mood, I was expecting whoever I was with to get what I just heard, and they didn't. So that's when that trait is shifted, and then now they're trying to see, well, why are you mad? You were just like this. Well, you need to understand that this just happened. So that's what I experienced a whole lot, but that was remedied through communication. No, a step further, through comprehension. I started to see that communication isn't key, comprehension is key. I can communicate all I want, but if you're not comprehending what it is that I'm trying to convey, it's gonna fall on deaf ears. So for me, though my loved ones, I was having to tell them, hey, y'all, I just saw this and it made me feel this way, so I gotta step back for a second.
That's good, because I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was at work one day and I was listening to, I think, I don't know, some fast song. And I was like, oh, okay. And Nesby, Anything for You was the next song that came on. And immediately, and my coworker was sitting there and talking to me, laughing with me, and it came on, and I just sung. And the next thing I know, I was bawling. She was like, but good thing, I had the communication and she comprehended. Yeah. So she knew, okay, something triggered you. Mm-hmm. And so that was good. When you said communication, you can communicate all day long. Don't mean they're going to get it. You have to comprehend. That's good. Mm-hmm. That means a note. That's a note. That's good.
And that goes along with something that I think John just said about, the new you. When you grieve and you lose, be it a divorce, a person, a way of life, or whatever, the person that you were died the moment that person died. Yeah. I tell people all the time, people still have these expectations of me to still be the same Rhonda that I was. I crack jokes about it because I'm not coming to sing at your program. I'm not coming to do nothing. I'm not doing it. I'm not coming because I don't want to. I cannot right now. And so what people will get angry with me as if to the why not, because they're used to the Rhonda that says yes all the time. Mm-hmm. Well, that Rhonda died when her mama died, right? And so one of the things that you said, and there's the expectation of, I need you to understand that when I cry, I just got triggered. And some people are not going to get it right off. And so sometimes you have to teach people the new you. Well, you can't teach people the new you until you learn who the new you is.
Exactly.
And so grief is, that process of grieving is you learning who you are now without whatever it was that you lost.
And that point you made about being able to sing those songs, and I'm like, how am I singing this song and I'm still dealing with this? That rings so true. And for the longest, I didn't listen to certain gospel songs because I'm like, sing it for what?
It doesn't make sense.
And it doesn't make sense anymore. Like, I believed, I trusted, I prayed, I did all of that, and still this. Mm-hmm. So sing it for what right now? So I get it. I'm glad you made that point.
Well, what? I'm sorry.
Y'all go. No, I just want to speak to that point too, because I know running that. No, I'm in ministry. I'm a youth and young adult pastor, assistant minister of music. I've been there, but church was one of those things that I tried to avoid at all costs. Yes. Because I understand faith. But one, I know God too, and I just didn't want to hear all the stuff, especially when he was transitioning, just the words that were coming from people. And I knew God had settled in my spirit that it's going to be a transition, and you still got noise coming to you. Well, I believe God is going to do a miracle. Well, no, man, I'm good if you get out of my ear with that. Like, if you just leave me alone, he already settled my spirit and let me know that this is what it is. But that noise, one, it brings confusion. Yes. And two, it's irritating. So yeah.
I was going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say to that. Knowing, like, I had a coworker whose spouse who lost their father one particular day, and I spoke with her concerning the job, and she said, "Well, we knew this day was coming." And my response to her was, Mallory, that doesn't make it any easier.
No, it does not.
It does not make it any easier. It does not make it, more accepting. In my opinion, it makes it harder to know that that's coming. And what you said also about your faith, I've been struggling with the fact of when you're in your faith and you know the Word of God and you know where your loved one is. On the same hand, you're struggling with the fact of that morning. How can I cry when I know what this is? You know what I'm saying? I like the term transition. I hate the term people use as far as loss. I lost a loved one. Because if you know that person's faith, if you know and you stand in it, then you never really lost anybody. But that's the thing that you know, I think not just myself, but a lot of Christians do struggle with. The fact is, knowing the Word of God, knowing what it teaches you, but at the same time, how can you know, you feel guilty in the fact of wanting to cry, wanting to let all this out, but hey, I know, you know what I'm saying?
But that goes back to sometimes Christians. I think one of y'all said the hardest people to deal with are Christians sometimes. Sometimes Christians will make you feel that, yes, I have faith, I do believe, I know where they are, but if I cry, then I really don't have as much faith as I say I do.
So let me tell you what I'm glad you said. So this morning I made a little confession at church. You heard me? So my mama was diagnosed with kidney cancer in March, and so she's got a 17-inch tumor that has overtaken one of her kidneys, and so she's on at-home hospice. So my anticipatory grief is where I've struggled. And so I was initially afraid to pray for her healing because I was scared that I was going to be disappointed if she, healed. So I struggle with that. I struggle with whether or not I pray for healing or whether or not I just do the regular thing that Big Mama and them and say whatever the Lord's will. So now, do I really have faith? Do I really believe what I say? Because I'm struggling with that. And so then, but I know the Word of God too. So I know that the Word of God has answers and examples. And I know the Word of God gives me permission to grieve.
That's it.
I get that. You're right. But that's why that isolation that we like to do away from the people who can remind us of the word, that's the enemy knows that. And what he wants to do is get us isolated. So can't nobody remind you, yo, Jesus wept. You can grieve. Nobody reminded me that, yo, Jesus, he already dealt with some folk that didn't have a lot of faith. And they said, Lord, help my unbelief. I believe. I'm just struggling over here. I'm just struggling over here right now. And so what's been happening with me is that I've been having these moments. And just like the one I just had, I'm going to have them. I just let them. And I'll get it together in a few seconds. And once I get through the moment, I'm through the moment. And now I'm back to realizing, man, Mama's still here.
That's it.
I still got a little more time. I still got, I still knowing what the outcome is going to be because I have real expectations of the Word of God. I don't have no spooky expectations.
Oh, that's so good.
I don't have no spooky expectations. The Bible says that we die because of sin, not because we are sinning, but because when sin happened, now our body's lost its glorified state. So we can't walk around and not die. So we're going to do that. So I don't get to blame God because God didn't take Mama. Even though we say that dumb stuff in church, we tell you your mama was a flower and God needed to pick some for his garden. We tell you that your mama got wings, but God you ain't getting no wings when you go to him. That ain't how that's working. You are higher than the angels. In that pecking order. You seated at the right hand, not the angels. And so we put all of this on. God knew better. He needed her more. Needed her for what?
That's the one I hate.
And so we do that to people. And now folk are wondering, well, why if I prayed, it did not work?
Exactly.
And it's because we have been taught to pray and to believe for things that Jesus didn't even pray for.
My Lord, I almost threw these cards.
All right, and so that's all. I mean, that's just. But my point is, I do know the Word of God, but I'm gonna also have moments. I do know the Word of God, but I'm gonna also bless you. I'm gonna also be sad. Okay, I do know the Word of God, and I know that the Word of God gives me a reference point where I'm safe to grieve and where I'm safe to say I don't really believe.
Jesus.
And you still just as saved as you were when you said it.
Thank you.
I tell you, yes, Lord.
Thank you.
Because the only thing I need to be saved is to believe.
That's it.
I want to hear.
What you gonna say?
Well, he touched it. He said exactly what I was going to say. Because your spirit was always intact. A lot of times we overlap spirit care with self-care and soul care.
Yes, sir.
It was your soul that needed to care, the seat of your emotions.
Yeah, man.
And so self-care is to give ourselves what we need, or to ask the question, what is it that I need? Soul care is the response that we give to that. So your spirit was never out of whack, if you will.
Yeah.
You were always, Jesus was always with you. It was your mother that you were grieving. And so we have to be clear there.
You better put clinical on my
overlap.
You see it?
You see the clinical and the spiritual.
clinical on my
It's overlapping.
Love it.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh,
I
look
was-
at that.
Right, I was trying to be quiet today. I was trying to, but y'all had said so much, man, that really uplifted me and helped me out a lot. And I really appreciate everybody that says something and y'all taking it to church. Again, I lost my dad 5 years ago. I lost my grandma recently, aunts and uncles and everything. And when I lost my dad at the time, friends were telling me, man, you like the strongest person I know. Like, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got so much strength. I still can't figure out to this day what they meant.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm gonna credit it to me just being a praying man and having faith and just thanking God way before my dad passed. And so when he passed, I wasn't, of course, he told us in December 2019, excuse me. And probably 5 months later, he was gone. He passed from cancer as well. And I just remember that day I was at home. It was COVID. So I was trying not to come around because everybody said, stay home, stay home. And I was trying not to come around because I didn't want to get him even more sick or whatever. And then, so I remember one Wednesday I was getting off work. I was working from home at the time. I was going to Dollar General, I think. And I called my dad, because we talk almost every day. You know what I'm saying? Just about man stuff, sports, cars, whatever. And so I called him, check on him. He was just low, and like his breathing was low. He can hardly talk. But let me say this first. What really helped me with my dad passing is one of my best friends of 15 plus years. His dad passed 2 years before to cancer.
Yeah.
And just listening to him talk about his dad, the stuff he was going through, the stages he was going through, got me ready for what my dad was about to go through.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't ready, if that makes sense. You know? And you don't know what you're gonna go through and how you're gonna feel until you go through it, until you feel it. Regardless of how many people talk to you about it. Regardless of how many times they try to prepare you. Like I think he was saying his dad prepare him for it, but you still can't prepare yourself mentally for all of that. And so when I got on the phone with him and he out of breath, he'll call me back in a few minutes. I called my sister. I said, how dad doing? He's doing all right? He ain't doing too good, Myra. I got on the highway. I was in Dallas. 6.5 years, by the way. So I got on the highway that day. I was there about 1, 2 in the morning. And my mom came to us. I knew you come home because they know me. I knew you come home. I saw my dad. He was sitting inside of the bed, and I shook his hand. We joked and laughed for a second. I went to the other room. I was about to cry because I didn't want to do it in front of him. And man, I swear, probably like a week or two. I was going to go home a few days later, but I promise you, them few days he just started declining. So I ended up staying. So a few days ended up being almost a month in Mississippi or in Canada, whatever. So Kennard was there. This is my brother right here. We know Kennard since I was little, and man, it was very hard to go through that and feel that. And everybody would tell me I was strong because I have a big family. I got 7 sisters, twin brother. Mom and dad, they've been together for like 40 plus years at the time, nieces and nephews. So it's like I was just trying to make sure everybody was good. You know, I just felt like I had to make sure everybody was good. But what really hurt me, what really got me though too, is my dad called me and my brother to the room, and my sister now, they was there, and he said, I need y'all to be strong. When I tell you, I walked out the room. Like I walked out the room. I couldn't. He said, I need y'all to be strong, and cause like. Everybody else saying that's like my hero. It's my dad. You know, he's like 60 years old, a little over 60 years old. So it's like, that's my dad. So I wasn't expecting him to leave so soon. And I thought that he was on a list to get a new liver. I think that's what it was. But it never stuck to me that when he told me he wasn't on the list anymore, that he didn't have long to live. And to this day, I'm still kind of upset that I didn't catch that. Yeah. That he didn't have when they took him off the list to get a liver. So, but just I can go on and on. But just listen to you all, man. I really appreciate y'all for just sharing y'all story. It just made me feel that and let me know personally that I'm not the only one that's going through what y'all going through. yes, I know it's other people going out there, but we don't hear it in this circle.
Exactly.
And I appreciate you ladies for doing what y'all do.
Of course, that's what this was for.
And that's what I was gonna say. That was the main reason that we wanted to have this space, because like you said, there are other men out there that are experiencing some of the same things, and it just helps not just men, but because it helps me to hear I'm not the only one experiencing this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the only one that's feeling some of these things I'm feeling. So to wrap up, I had one last question. You guys have all talked about how you grieve differently and that it's okay to grieve. So one of the last questions that a gentleman submitted to me was, what would you tell other men, or advice that you would give to other men who are experiencing grief? I know Rafe said, I don't know how to grieve. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, so if you were to share something with a man that may be watching, what would you say? Anybody?
Me personally, I would say go through your emotions. People would tell you all the time, well, you should be done grieving. It's been 3, 4, 5 years. I still grieve sometimes.
You would forever.
It be in the random moments. I'm a DJ, so I could be in a DJ booth and something will hit me and I'll grieve or whatever. I got to the point where I asked God to please allow me to dream about my dad. And when I tell you he does, and there'd be some laughter and be some fun moments there. Just think about some things that he did. But just go through your emotions. Feel them, cry if you want to. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna cry in a minute. If I feel like it, I'm gonna do it. I don't hold my emotions in. I used to hold my emotions in and just be cool and calm and stuff, but I don't hold things in. I just got to go ahead and get it out, because like y'all was saying earlier, if not, then it's gonna break you at some point. So go through your emotions. I went to therapy too, by the way. I went to therapy for like 6 months, and my therapist allowed me to see some things that I didn't see for myself. Now, I didn't grow up in a family where it was a bunch of love yous and hugs, but we showed it different ways though. And so I didn't realize that when I moved to Dallas, when I was on the phone with my mom, my dad, and I was on the phone with, when I was leaving to coming home from Texas and leaving back out, I told my mom that I loved them every time, each and every time. So there was so many I love yous, and I can only imagine how many of it would have been if we was right there.
Right.
So my therapist pointed that out to me. I'm like, man, you're right. But I'll tell any man, just go through your feelings, go to therapy if need be. You know what I'm saying? Continue to pray, continue to have faith, continue to love yourself, and just let it out whenever it need to be.
And I'm sorry. With what he said, show your emotions. I can be at work, I can be at home. When it hits me, I'm gonna cry. Like, I'm just not running down everywhere, just cry. And then one thing my mama always said, I never forget when my dad died. He died in their home. And before the funeral home came and got him, she climbed over here, man. She just said, Lord, just give me a little strength. And I find that helps me too. Like, sometimes Netta texts me like, you okay? And I'm like, nah, girl, I just wiped my face. But in that midst, I asked, I said, Lord, please just give me a little strength, because it's hard. And then in the manner in which my dad passed, his cancer it hit him, then he was gone the next week. So I say just cry, and call who you need. And the people who comprehend what you're going through, they're gonna be with you. I could text Nick, I could call cousins. I always call my mama, but I know that space is open there for me too. So I'd like just cry it out. It ain't nothing wrong with crying.
It's not.
So for me, really simple. I would just say, man, make sure you have a strong community. Something that I'm really intentional about is ensuring that I have those people that don't know whatever title I am, professor this or pastor this, just know Jason. And I have that very small amount of people that have that, because like everybody has said, like, just to regurgitate, it is an ongoing, grief is an ongoing thing, man. And I think now I'm still experiencing it, but I'm experiencing it in a different way.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing it, grieving that my dad is not here to see me hit major milestones. For me, in July, I'll be finishing my doctorate. In August, I'll be getting married. My dad was there when I started my doctoral program, not there when I finished. He was there when I started dating my fiance, not there when I finished. So those are the things that it's like, dang, man, like, why you couldn't stay until I finish at least this thing? So that strong community of people, those are the people who have comprehended, and they are expecting those moments and anticipating them just like I am. Like, y'all know this major milestone is coming. We may need to circle around Jason in this season. So,
That's good.
I mean, as far as me, it's like I would tell them, get your affairs in order. What I learned through grief is get your affairs in order. Insurance, you may have insurance. Like with me, my mama died, I was left with pennies. And I had to cover a lot of stuff. And it was like, you see family real colors when death come. We all know that. And it was like, my mom set a policy up when I was a baby. She had insurance. She did what she was supposed to do. But she left my auntie and uncle to take care of me and my sister if she passed while we were young. My sister 50 and I'm 40. And it was to the fact the insurance was still under my auntie and uncle name. And you think a common sense would be like, well, this for y'all, now y'all grown now. No. That's our part of the money. Your mama left that for us. And it was my family close. And just to see how a few $1,000s would make my uncle not talk to me for months. Me and my auntie already were having a rift through her daughter doing some crazy stuff. So it was like, my grief is different. I got grief with aunties that's still alive. I'm grieving people that's dead to me that's still alive. So it's like, grief for me is like just going through so much, going through a divorce, losing my mama, losing my daughter's mom, losing friends. Like, Playla brother just died the other day, preparing for his funeral this week. But everybody asks me like, Rafe, how you stay strong? I just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know how to mourn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't go in a room and say, okay, today I'm gonna cry. I don't know how to do it. But when it hit me, it hit me. You know what I'm saying? But it don't really work like that. It's gonna hit you. I feel like Rick and Bob on Talladega Nights. When my eyes get to water, am I crying? Is this the moment? Is it happening? Am I finna cry? Nah, it ain't happening right now. Like, I don't know. It's just like, but then I do catch myself lashing out. Yeah. I do catch myself getting upset more, getting irritable more. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? And anybody really know me know I'm not really a violent person, not an upset person. Like, I'm chill most of the time, but now I catch myself spazzing way more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but people I feel like should understand that even the whole process of my mom passing, feel like people that should have been there wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it make you lose respect for a lot of people. Yes, absolutely. And even though I feel like it's not your responsibility to baby me or make sure I'm straight, but the whole point is like, you supposed to be somebody that's supposed to be there. And you're not there. And it's just like, then when you do come out, I feel like it's fake. You know what I'm saying? So now, when everybody else, I'm sorry, you okay? Yeah. You've been around me more than anybody. Now you asking me okay? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. Yeah. Keep it. You know, so it's like, I don't know, but I can say everybody get your affairs in order. If you don't have life insurance, get life insurance. And if you hadn't updated your policy, because we don't think. Like, my mom didn't think to let me update this policy. You know what I'm saying? She always said, I got insurance, my kids gonna be straight. Y'all put me away nice. I don't want no sad cold chicken in the church gym. That's all she told me. Don't put it in the ground and don't have no cold chicken in the gym. She want a party. I gave her a party. She wanted a mausoleum. Don't put me in no ground. I'm gonna come back and hunt you, black. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna make it happen. I did everything she asked for. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, to the point, it's just like, I live around the corner from my mama mausoleum. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go almost daily. I could be going to get gas. Before I know it, I done pulled in the cemetery over there. Like, okay, mom, to kind of holler at you, this and this. You know, like, but that helped me a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's like, too. Yeah,
you think you're not grieving, but you are.
And I don't know if it's like, I know pretty much everybody ain't the only one, but it's like with me, I see her so much now. I could be in Kroger, go down that.
Yep.
Like, thinking I'm seeing the visions, you know what I'm saying? Like, just random scents, like, smell like that white diamond. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just random things, and it helps me. Like, and I'm like I said, I lost all my mother figures, my real mother figures. I had before. I lost my actual mom, my godmom, my aunt that raised me like my mother, lived with her. And though me and my wife going through a divorce, I feel like I lost my mother-in-law. So it's like, everybody was a mother to me, I feel like not in my life no more. So it's like, I just keep going with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know, it get hard some days, but then at the same time, just like keep moving.
Yeah, that was good.
You asked how the advice is for dealing with grief, and this is what I do. I do a lot of fun stuff. You follow me on social media, you know, my mom and dad was married 51 years or something, and she's a foodie. My mama love food. She's a big foodie, so she fed the community, and so I keep that going. So it's a retirement home down from my mom's house. Man, I go and take the same old men their plates, because that's what my mom used to do. So I let her live through me. Taking care of my dad. I moved to Canton to be closer to him. I got a house 5 houses from him. So when he want to do something, let's go fishing, whatever he want to do. You know, So I let her live through me.
Yeah.
And to see his smile, that's me.
Makes you smile. Yeah. That's good.
I think I would say through everything, grief and all, just to keep God first. To, like Tony said, to embrace it and to pray through it, pray about it, and be in it. But just keep God first, and also to, if you're looking at life through a different lens afterwards, to embrace who you are from your loved ones. And I mean to say, like with my father just passed March 7th, last month, March 7th. And it's so much, stuff started hitting me over here because there's so many similarities. My parents married 51 years. Yeah. My father lived with cancer, given 3 to 6 months to live, and not even making 3. So out of that, I guess, just because like my father would tell me cliches all the time, giving me different analogies and stuff, and it wouldn't hit me until after the fact. I'm like, what is this old man talking about? But later on, you walk through something and it hits you, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I started to see a lot of myself. I started to see a lot of my father in myself, and I'm learning to embrace that. Because on one hand, throughout my life, up until my adult life, I used to be like, I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to be like my dad. So much, and not to say it was bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, but everybody have their moments. But I was like, I don't want to be like my dad. But now, I realize I'm everything that he is. Yeah. My life is parallel to my father's in so many different ways. My father played football, pro football. I wanted to be just like him, follow his footsteps. My father wore number 77 for the Giants. In college, I started out wearing 91. As soon as I put on 77 to honor him, my sophomore year, my father tore his ACL in his right knee. I tore my ACL in my right knee, wearing the same number, same injury. And I think to myself, like, God, why is this? You know what I'm saying? How does this stuff happen? Why is this happening to me? And when my father passed, it feels, and I don't want to hold up, but it feels like a lot of stuff, I guess a lot of guilt, a lot of things, a lot of stuff transition when my father transitioned. And I'm in a new place to where I'm learning more about me by looking at him. And I'm learning that I'm more like my dad than I realized. And if I could be him and surpass that, then I'm gonna be good.
Yeah. Okay. When he said that, it reminded me of The Lion King when Simba, he didn't go back to reclaim what was truly his until he looked at his father's reflection in the water.
Oh, you teaching.
And oftentimes we do have to do that. I've heard somebody say that grief is love with nowhere to go. Many times we get angry with others, and I guess this is my pitch to them about grief, but many times we get angry with other people because of what we feel they're not doing for us. But with grief being love with nowhere to go, put that love on you.
Come on, John.
Don't expect anybody else to stop running, stop going, stop doing if we haven't stopped running, stop going, and stop doing. To spend time to see what is it that I need. And so that would be my pitch. Love on you. Give you the love that you've given, especially as men, to your wife, your children, to everybody else. Learn to love you and ask yourself the question, how have I loved on me lately?
That's good.
That's all right. You just told me.
I would just say, particularly for folks who are practicing Christians, resist the urge to be strong.
Thank you.
So just resist the urge. The scripture says that it's in your weakness that his strength is made perfect. And so either we're going to believe this stuff or we're not. And so I would simply just encourage you to stop believing that your call is to be strong. And find you a Bible teaching church that understands rightfully dividing the word so that they don't give you expectations that God himself didn't give. And so that way we're not having expectations of people and of things and of situations. Because the only expectation that you have to have after grief is that after the funeral, the calls are going to slow down.
Yes, God.
The cars are not coming anymore.
The cake's gonna stop.
Nobody's bringing food and drinks, and you're going to feel like, I want you to hear me and hear me well, because this is going to keep you from being as upset and bottled up. You're going to feel like folk ought to remember that your mama just got buried Saturday, but you forgot that they going back to work Monday.
That's right.
And that they still got to pick them kids up. And that they still married to a fool. So what I'm saying to you, lean into the vulnerability that is a part of this process called grief. And be okay with not being okay.
Yep.
All right? Just be all right with it. My progress is that I've gone from 20 breakdowns a day to 6.
Yeah.
Today was number 4.
Yes, and that's progress.
That right there, that was number 4.
Exactly.
And I don't have any need. You don't have any need. Y'all don't have any need to be strong. When our parents and dad is calling us in the room at the last hour and they're saying to us, be strong, you're hearing it wrong. They ain't telling you to be strong. They're calling on your leadership.
All right.
And there's a difference in being strong and stepping into leadership. So when Daddy said, I need you and your brother to be strong, when Mama said, I need you to take care of your sister, when she said that, she was not asking you to be her or to be him. When asking you to step into the responsibilities that they had, they was just simply saying, I need you to lead now. Lead in your own way. Because Simba didn't lead like Mufasa.
He didn't.
He was simply inspired by his father's leadership, and he saw it in himself. And so because he saw it in himself, now he's inspired to go back and to stand on territory that ain't never been.
Take it, drummer.
Nah, he really thought he was going to get another $1.
Let me say this. This is more than what we expected. But I mean, we expected it to be good, but we did not expect for it to be this good. And so
I did.
You did.
That's why we intentionally picked the people that we chose.
Listen, well, let me put it to you. I'm gonna put it this way. I expected it and I wanted it to be a space for you all. Yeah. But y'all have blessed me.
Yeah.
Y'all have turned around and helped me in ways that I wasn't expecting to get anything because I wanted it to be for you. So I want to thank you for your vulnerability. I want to thank you for your insight. I want to thank you for opening up and just being authentic in your grief and your feelings.
Yes.
Thank y'all so much.
Give yourselves a hand.
Please.
Thank y'all.
A couple of things that we want to leave, and we're going to wrap up. On the table, we put a few little cards on there. And the front of this card says you have the right to grieve. And there are 2 separate cards. It's 2 cards, they say different things on them. So try to get both of them. But a couple of the things that are on there is right in time with what you guys were saying. You have the right to grieve in the way that you want to grieve. Your grief may not look like his grief, and it's not going to mimic somebody else's. It's going to be yours, and it's going to be the way that you need to grieve, and it's okay. You have the right to do that. Tony said that the word spells out that he gives us permission to do it, right? So you have the right to grieve. You have the right to cut people off that you don't need in your life anymore. You have the right to actively pursue places and other people and things and community to get you through this grief. I hope this allowed you to set up some kind of community today that you guys can exchange numbers and contacts and social medias. And if you need somebody else to talk to and share with in this experience, now that you have somebody else that you can do that with. So we're gonna wrap up.
And we would like to thank again JT and the 2 Cigar Lounge for allowing this amazing space for us to have. And we'd like to thank Dan Washington of Low and Slow Barbecue for providing the refreshments and the food for today. For our May sponsors, thank you so much to Shondell Morris of Minor and Morris Funeral Home in Joliet, Illinois. For Jerry Smith and the Children of Israel. And Jeff Davis of Davis Professional Paint and Tile. Give it up for our May sponsors. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all so much. Thank you guys for being so vulnerable. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Remember, our show comes on every last Wednesday of the month at 8 o'clock. Subscribe to YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Like us on Instagram. Like, share, comment. Let us know what you think. And once again, we'll see you in the morning.
See you in the morning. Thank you, guys.
Scream, cry, yell, why did it have to happen? It hurt so bad. You thought the pain would never end. We've come to share some